I waited to do this one until all the dust had settled on the 3 p.m. kickoffs. I watched Luton Town travel to not the KCOM Stadium, it's now the MKM Stadium. A bit weird. I watched Luton Town go to the MKM and beat Hull 1-0. Huzzah! Right, well, look, a win is a win. I'm very happy. And in the context of the games that kicked off at 3, it could have been so much worse. Essentially, we were all very happy. It was a game that happened, though. Look, let's not sugarcoat the game, because ultimately the winner was a goal that registered on a solid 8 out of 10 on the Julian James John Dreyer scale. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check that out. It was a fantastic own goal that Luton Town scored from our last season in the top flight. Well, not our last season. Our last season was last season, wasn't it? Can you believe we're in a relegation battle after being in the top flight last season? I wonder how Burnley and Sheffield United are doing. Anyway, so Luton were playing, I think it was Stoke, and Julian James went to clear a ball, cleared it into John Dreyer's face, and it went looping in. No chance for the keeper. And the reason why I gave this one an 8 out of 10 was because it didn't come off Alfie Jones's face. It came off sort of his chest. And also this was significantly closer to goal than the James Dreyer combo, which was the edge of the box. It really was fantastic. Edge of the box. Boo, looped in. Absolutely sensational stuff. John Dreyer was just left on the ground, not knowing what had hit him. It was a ball to the face. Anyway, so back to the game and the context of the results that happened around us. So going into this game, it was a massive 6-pointer. I was kind of worried because Hull, they've blown hot and cold. They have, but the improvement in their results since Ruben Sellers came in as opposed to Tim Walters has been big. It really has. Ruben Sellers, he's a young coach. I really rate him. He did great things with Reading, considering the absolute situation Reading are in. And I thought we'd be in for a game. Obviously, there were some big misses for Hull. Louis Barry out for the season, João Pedro suspended, but they still have talent and the powers of OAP Nordin Amrabat. Honestly, I was watching it with a mate when he came on. We're like, isn't he about 50? Like, how is he still playing? That's absolutely mad. Anyway, so the first half, it happened, I guess. It wasn't the finest game of football that we would have seen. Hull had the majority of the ball. We really couldn't threaten too much. Elijah Adebayo had a chance, hit the post. That was probably the most we saw of Elijah Adebayo. Otherwise, he was running into blind alleys. He was, up against two people. He's not like the Elijah of old. And look, I've hammered Elijah Adebayo. Is what it is. One of the... you'd expect him to do more because he's used to having two defenders on him. Elijah of old, he would have shrugged them off. Like, think back to that goal he scored against Nottingham Forest last season. He had two players around him. He had Joe Worrell, took the ball on his chest and had the composure to find a fantastic finish. Elijah now, what would he do? He'd just get muscled off the ball by the defenders, throw his arms up. Oh, what do you want me to do with it? Well, Elijah... you're paid very handsomely. Just play football, Be a big, strong, athletic player that we know you can be. But, he's a confidence player and he has absolutely none of that at the moment. Right, Carlton Morris in the first half. He did improve in the second half. I'll give him that. In the first half, he was absolutely pony. The guy I was watching it with, there was a chance where ball comes across, back stick, Carlton Morris, he hits it first time with his right. And my mate turns to me and says, well, is he left-footed or something? My mate isn't a Luton fan. It's like, is he left-footed? I was like, nope, that's his stronger foot. And then in the second half, he had another chance, this time with His left foot ballooned it high and wide. But otherwise, the link-up play was good. I thought maybe Elijah should have come off at half-time and given Ali a bit more chance to run at players. But ultimately, it's a win. We got 45 minutes of Reece Burke under his belt. We got 45 minutes for Tahith Chong under his belt. Tahith Chong playing right wing back, not such a fan of that. Really not. But I guess it's horses for courses right now because there's no one else. And it really is a sad indictment about what Matt Bloomfield thinks about Ruel Walters. The fact that he's not even getting near the squad right now. And we need right-sided players. And he'd rather play a barely fit Tahith Chong, well, returning from injury, Tahith Chong at right wing back rather than Ruel Walters. So that's something for another day. And Hashioka, who knows? He's missing in action. No idea. But look, it's about limping to the end of the season, try and get as many wins as possible right now. And that is what we're doing. We're solid at the back, toothless in attack. Luton might be staying in the Football League. I guess we'll see how that goes. But in the context of the results, as I said at the top of this, it genuinely was looking pretty precarious. Yes, Stoke won. That's a problem. But how we are going to play Stoke in a couple of weeks. We're playing them away from home. So you know what? If we can maintain our solidity at the back and nick a 1-0, then happy days. We've also got to play Derby. We don't know about the Derby result because Derby are playing Preston on Wednesday night midweek. And, well, Derby, they're on a hot run of form. Like, everyone kind of thinks that they're going to win. And that's fair. I don't blame people for thinking Derby are going to win. However, there were some optimistic-looking results. You know, Oxford, they were winning. Middlesbrough turned it around late. That's good for us. That is very good for us because Oxford, they had that tremendously hot streak of form that sort of shot them out of the relegation zone, made it look like, oh, well, you know, we're not going to be able to catch them. But you know what? They are dropping now. They are dropping, and we are not too far behind them. Cardiff with a draw. And that is also important for us because you know what? They were winning. And they were getting away from us. So essentially, it's points gained on the pack that we are chasing. And there are teams that are sort of within reach now. And the reason why they are within reach is because we've only lost once in our last 5. Look, maybe if you want to be facetious, you can say we've lost twice in our last 6. But I'm looking on the positives because I'm a positive guy, aren't I? We've only lost once in our last 5. And I've said it all along. Essentially, you need that one run of hot form. Once you have that run of hot form, like teams in the relegation battles, you might only get one. And at this stage of the season, we're seeing a lot of teams sort of peel away. But that is because at this stage of the season, the teams who are in the mire of the relegation battle, you'll see them become the most informed teams in the league. The likes of Portsmouth, they're on a tremendous run of form. Another win for them today. I don't think they're catchable. They really aren't. But it is looking like a very interesting relegation battle, how it's going to end at the end of the season. Because prior to this, it was kind of looking, it was going to be like an absolute whimper. But it's all changing. The teams at the bottom, with the exception of Plymouth, who, well, I guess it was a good draw away at Vicarage Road. Fair play, Plymouth. You know, not letting Watford get all 3 points. With the exception of Plymouth, and they had their sort of good run of form that coincided with their cup run, but I think the cup run has completely destroyed them. It really has. It's one of those. You got to win your games because most likely scenario is all the teams around you are going to be winning their games. Look at when we beat Cardiff and we were all really happy for about 24 hours and then everyone else won their games. Essentially, you've got to keep winning. We have 7 games left now. 7 games. I reckon we need to win 4 of them. 4 must wins. And I know people agree with me on that. I I believe we need to win 4 games to have a genuine shot at staying up. I think it's going to be a very high bar this season. I reckon 50 points could be required for survival, possibly higher than 50 points. It's going to be a right old tough season. But that's what makes this league the best in the world. It is very competitive. Unfortunately, there are sort of some teams stuck in the middle of the pack. Your Sheffield Wednesdays, your Millwalls, your QPRs, and they're at the beach. They got nothing to play for. They're not getting relegated. They're not getting promoted. So they just sort of turn up to games. They have a little kickabout, and I don't want to say that's unfair, but it's just a case of the players aren't playing with any motivation. They're just going through the motions, trying not to get injured until the end of the season. So those are kind of easy games, I would say. Regardless, look, today, great victory. I'm delighted for all the fans that went. Those are the first back-to-back victories we've had away from home since February, March 2023. So our promotion season from the Championship, when we beat Birmingham and then we beat Sheffield United. So it's been a long time. So fair play, all the fans. I'm delighted that you have been rewarded with back-to-back victories, and important back-to-back victories. 2 6-pointers won in a row. We need to win the 6-pointers. We need to beat Stoke. We need to beat Derby. We really do. We really do. And yeah, well, happy days. 3 points in the bag, looking more solid defensively right now. Things are looking up for Luton Town. So Leeds come to town next game. I think they're kind of in the midst of a bottle. They are in the midst of a bottle. I'm unable to say midst. They're in the midst. They're in the middle of a bottle. I'm not going to try and say it. They're in the middle of a bottle. They drew 2-2 with Swansea today. Leeds can be got at. And Luton Town tight at the back, yes, with Toothless up front, but there's always a chance. There is always a chance. And you just need the crowd to get behind the club, the players on the pitch. Everyone has to be aligned right now, because there is a chance that we get out of this. We've had a bigger great escape. And no, I know we should not be in this situation, not at all. But we are, so we got to make the most of it that we can. Right, a reminder, Sunday night, 9 p.m, we have the fan phone-in. Please join us. Let us know your thoughts. We want to hear from you. It's a lot of fun. It really is. And coming this week, we have the Luton Town show, and we have Champ Chat, where we discuss everything that's happened in the relegation battle, the playoff chase, and the promotion push. So join us for that on our channel. Remember to subscribe. Everyone, have a good rest of the weekend. Most importantly, come on, you 3-point away from home Hatters. Yes!